My name is Catherine Mwangi. Thank you for joining us tonight here from the Holiday Inn. This is What's Your Story? Glad you have made an appointment to catch tonight's story because you will be inspired by this young girl. She should not take offense, I've called her a girl, but when I first saw her, I just thought, wow, she's so young. She's the CEO of Glasshouse PR. It's a leading PR agency here in the city of Nairobi, and we are gratified to have you on the show, Miss Njoki.
Thank you for having
Are
me.
you in your teens? Like this youthful, this youthfulness?
I actually turned a year this year that tells you that you're no longer a youth. So
Which year is that?
the one they tell you you're no longer a youth.
Which
you can
one?
Get the one. Anyway, I turned 35 this year.
Now see now, what are you saying? So that's, you're feeling that you're no longer a youth?
Now I'm feeling very old.
It does not show whatsoever on you. You are eternal youthfulness. That is all I see. Yes. I'm glad that you made the time to come.
Yes.
Because, so I follow your work on LinkedIn.
Yes.
FYI.
Yeah.
And I've always been intrigued by like, wow, okay, this Glasshouse, first of all, the name Glasshouse is very captivating for me.
Yes.
Because I'm like, wow, Glasshouse beer, how did this come about?
Yes.
So I said, okay, enough of these questions, Catherine. Though you can only have these answers if you meet the person behind this great vision. So let's, in fact, yours will start from there as we build to your background. Okay. You okay with that?
Yeah. That's
okay. So how did you build Glasshouse PR, and why this name Glasshouse? Where did that come from? It's beautiful.
When I was employed, and I was employed in SMEs, not the corporate,
right?
I used to find that there was no clear communication between us and the management, or there was no transparency. So the moment I wanted to start Glasshouse PR, or rather I felt like this is the time I'm starting Glasshouse PR, I remember asking someone, I want my company to represent clear communication, transparency. So it came from that. So from that, that's how we came up with the name Glasshouse PR. But of course, over the years, that name has had more meaning. And, and has
what
grown.
Meanings?
I mean, clarity. There's so much. When people come to us, they get to have clarity of their visions, which now reflects to the name of the company.
Yes. Yeah. You started with only 6,000 Kenya shillings.
Yeah.
6K.
Yes.
Even me, I read that. I said, hey, 6,000. How? How?
Yeah.
So what is the how? How did that happen?
First of all, I mean, it's very different when you're doing service business because you don't need so much capital.
Oh, okay.
So the fact that you're in the service business, you just need skills, or, I mean, you just need yourself. But prior to that, I had IT skills. So I had my 6,000 Kenya shillings, a laptop, and skills. So I had IT skills.
Right.
So I was able to create my own website. And I was able to now do online marketing. So I had those skills. So for me, my capital was mostly the skills. And then the 6,000 Kenya shillings, I used that to buy a modem to connect to the internet, which didn't work in my village. And I had to borrow another one.
Yes. So the courageous part too, and I like what you've said. So it's not just I had 6K. The major investment actually was I was skilled at something. However small it is. So that's important. Okay. So for you, you heard her say she went to the village. So for you to go to the village means you were living and working in Nairobi.
I was still living in the village, but I'd commit to Nairobi. I tried moving to Nairobi, it never worked. So I just settled on, I don't know, I would find houses and then I would think they're expensive. It was just a whole lot of interesting thing. But for me, it's to understand that everything that happens it's like it's divinely orchestrated. So the time I moved to Nairobi, it made sense why all these years I had never moved to Nairobi. So I committed for several years from the village to Nairobi. But it's not far. And I think this is something people don't understand. You can even drive out of Nairobi, like 10 minutes out of Nairobi, and you find like a village. So where I come from is maybe 1 hour from Nairobi. But then once you get there, it's a totally different world. It's a village. But then it's not that far from Nairobi.
So what was bringing you to Nairobi?
Previously, of course, it was college. And then when I got employed, that would bring me to Nairobi. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's speak then about college. So so see, you're the one taking us, eh? You're the one you're the one taking us to where we need to be going.
Yes.
Okay, so you were raised by a single mom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you the only child?
No, I have an older sibling.
So you're two of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So raised by a single parent.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up?
Quite interesting. I think for me, she never made me feel like I didn't have a father. On the contrary, I think I used to, because my friends who had fathers, their fathers were very strict. So at some point I'll be like, oh, it's better me who doesn't have a father. But of course, some of these things catch up with you when you're a teenager. But when growing up, I didn't feel like there was a void in that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she was wholesome.
Yes, in that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did you feel in your teens that, okay, maybe I should have a dad or a father figure?
I think there's a place you get to and you realize the way you are responding to life, it's because you have a void or a particular need.
Okay.
And the reason you're looking for certain things, it's because probably you didn't have this father.
Okay.
But then my transition or my growth was when truly I discovered God by myself.
Okay.
Because, I mean, growing up, I was not close to my mom, by the way.
Oh,
just
okay.
that, and then she was a teacher, and I'd find her very strict, so we were never close. But I remember when I was 11 years old, I walked to her. We were all Catholics. I walked to her and I told her, from today, I'm no longer Catholic. And I don't think she took it seriously.
At 11?
Yes. I don't think she took it seriously. And then it's after that, I think I went with my neighbors to this church, and then they were asking people to get born again. I just walked in front, got born again, and went home. I actually don't know what was happening to me. But I mean, each time I look back in hindsight, I'm like, that was interesting. And I think that particular moment opened me up to actually understanding that truly you can have, you can understand that God is your father.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that there was that I carried at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But then now as a teenager, because life is coming at you, there are all these things that are happening to your body. You're changing.
Yes.
You don't know what is going on with you. So you discover there's a way you're responding to life. There's a way you want to fit in. You want to, if someone doesn't talk to you, you're like, they're rejecting me. But then you discover the root is coming from that place. Or rather, I found myself one day asking, is it because, where is this guy who was my father? Where was he? But then it's all, sometimes I feel like these are things that are shaped by the media. They're not actually real.
Yeah.
They're feelings that come because maybe you watched something. But for me, my change or my transition when I discovered that actually God can be my father.
Your dad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that. And I also know that even for people who have dads, present dads, and they have found a relationship also with God.
Yes.
And because maybe that relationship is dysfunctional for whatever reason, they have felt complete.
Yes.
Just knowing that my maker, my creator, is my father.
Yeah.
So there's something very special there.
Yeah.
But at 11, you know, that sense of awareness where you go to tell your mom, me from today first, I'm not this.
Yeah.
And then you go and you're answering altar call.
Yes. By
at
myself.
11.
Yeah, that was, I actually look back, I'm like,
Yeah.
divinely orchestrated. How can I explain that?
No.
Yeah.
So that courage, is it courage? Is it courage?
Boldness.
Boldness.
And I think in my village, since I grew up in a village, people will be like, if you want to go out at night, go with Mary. She's not afraid of the dark. I'm like, okay. So I'll just be going with people, in the village, like you're saying, to the kashof.
Yeah.
Maybe around 7, 8 to get something from Kamau's or karaoke's. So
I know you grew up in the village.
So Karanjas, actually, the shop was Karanjas.
Okay.
So I'd take people at night, like they'll be like, yeah, go with Mary. I don't know. So there was that boldness that I had, even at a young age.
And others could see it.
Yes.
Yeah. Has that followed you into your adulthood?
It has, but then sometimes, and again, there's a way external factors in life tend to make you, again, respond to life in a different way.
Yes.
But then also you discover it's what is happening in the inside. Because as a child, you're so innocent.
Yes.
You're just bold. when you start getting knowledge that defines fear, now you start getting afraid of certain things, yet it's not how...
And questioning yourself, second guessing yourself.
Doubting.
Yes.
But then now you discover, oh, okay, this is something I need to rebel against or to come against.
I like that. That speaks to me about your heightened sense of perception awareness. Like, you know, is this me or is this external factors? Is it a movie I watched? Is it a conversation I heard? Is it a book I read? So you're able to kind of like put everything on the table and say, this is not me. And kind of evaluate that. Okay, Madam CEO. Madam CEO. Okay, so you went to school in the village, went to college in Nairobi. High school where?
I forgot. So first of all, I went to school so early. I actually was in class 1 at the age of 5.
Okay.
So I finished high school at the age of 16.
Wow. I think I was in Form 2 at 16.
At 16,
You are finishing?
Yes, I was finishing high school.
Okay.
So I went to also a village high school. Okay, it wasn't village. It's now called, it has a laureate or something on it, but it was
so group of schools.
No. It's a district school. That's what they call them. But it was really nice because it was being managed by a Catholic church and nuns.
Yes.
So our headmistress, and our teachers were nuns.
Yes.
So it was interesting.
That's nice.
It was neat. It was okay. But somewhere where if you want to run away from school, you can't get to the...
Where would you want
2
to run?
hours to
run? Oh, because it was deep.
Yeah. So deep.
So they will catch you before you get to the rocks.
It's so deep.
When you had thoughts of running away from school?
I would hear stories. You can't even think about it.
Where are you going? Where would you be going? Okay, so no dramatic experiences in high school?
I don't remember any. I think for me, one of the things that stand out is how I really, really was trying to fit in.
Oh.
Because first of all, when I was in Form 4, even Monos Form 1, sorry, they would be like...
The last time I had that.
I watched a movie called Mono, a Kenyan one. Anyway, Form 1s will be like, now even if you're finishing school, we'll get IDs at the same time. So like all the time, because I was always the youngest in class, I was always mostly the smallest. So there's a way...
So tiny, petite, highly intelligent. I mean, you're finishing at 16. Don't be modest. Not all of us finish school at 16.
Yes.
Wow. And then you finished. And what did you want to do after high school?
So when I finished, I got a B for boy. That's a grade I got. But to me, I thought I'd failed because...
With a B?
Yeah. I thought I failed because where I'm coming from and the context, for you to go to campus, you needed to get B+ and above to go to regular program.
Okay.
And my sibling who had gone before me, he was really brilliant. And even when he got B+, okay, of course, I grew up in a very humble background. So even when he got his B+, we had to do a harambe to take him to campus. Now I've come, I have a B, B+ gets you the help you need from government.
Yes.
B, where are you going to get money to go for a parallel program? So,
because money was tight.
Yes. Yeah.
So you felt bad.
Yes.
With a B.
Yes.
Okay. So when you're still in those feelings and thoughts, did you what pursuits did you make?
So in high school, when I was growing up, because of the context, the only thing I'd seen was to become a primary school teacher or a nun. Like that was a dream. You see, your vision is actually limited to what you see. So that was my dream until high school when I was introduced to computer studies. Okay. And I was like, oh, there's something here. And then my mind opened up to computer science.
Right.
So I actually wanted to study computer science after high school.
No, because I'm like, there's no stopping you. From 11 years old, now we are talking, you finished at 16.
Yes.
And you want to do computer science.
Yes. But the money is tight. And then I didn't get a very good grade in maths.
What was the grade?
It was that grade.
The B?
No. A very bad grade. No.
B-?
No. So those days, there's a big I don't know, people would finish high school and then you'd go to Kenya National Theatre to try acting.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Someone is
You
laughing.
did that?
I think they did
Yeah,
it.
your camera person, be what is laughing. Like, yeah, I did that. Okay.
Yeah. So I also tried to do that. So one day, again from the village, I take a matatu. First, I need to tell you, it was so funny because when I got to Westlands, I thought we were in Nairobi. Then the Makanga is like, no, just hold up.
So you would alight at Westland
I wanted
and
to alight in
walk
Westlands.
all the way to KNT.
Then they're like, oh no, wait, we'll show you.
So wait, yeah, the KNT. You acted?
So I went to KNT. Yeah, so I found people doing, I didn't even do any auditions. They just told me they need a child to act in one of the set books.
Road path to CEO, eh? CEO. It has not come easy.
Yes.
So you found who what?
I found them writing a script or thinking through a script around some set books. Then they said, oh, they don't have character for a child. And I'm like, yeah.
I mean,
I fit in.
Yeah.
So I didn't even do auditions. Yeah, and I think I traveled with them for 2 or 3 months.
yeah, you got in.
Yeah.
You're relentless.
Yeah, so I got in, traveled with them for 3 months. And then
It was traveling theatre even?
Yeah, we went to Homa Bay. I'd never been to Homa Bay.
Wow, and all this time you're waiting to do your bridge course?
Yes.
Your mathematics course?
Mathematics course, yeah.
Yeah. So after that experience, you went back home?
Went back home, then now I started coming again to Nairobi to study maths. Yeah.
And you did math?
Yes, I did maths.
And you passed?
Yes, yeah, it was written pass.
It was written, so that was good for you.
Yeah.
Whatever they wrote was good for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you got that,
Yeah.
what did you want to do with that?
I wanted to go to study computer science, but then we can't afford, so we keep waiting. And a friend of mine was like, but there's this, so she was going to this college. And I remember actually when we finished high school, because she came from a whatever people call privileged family, she could go to college directly, because as long as you have money, it doesn't matter. I think most of my friends, they had C's and whatever, but you could go.
They got through.
Yeah. So one of them came and told me, you can come to our college. They actually have this course that is called BIT, Business Information Technology.
Okay.
Since you want to do IT, you can come and combine.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. So we looked at it. It was a bit cheaper than going to study the
main course itself.
The main course,
yes.
or the computer science itself.
Yes.
So I think, I don't know whether she got a loan at that particular point.
Yeah.
Then now I started going to Graffin's College.
Yeah. Here in Westlands.
In Westlands, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and your course was for how long?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And then after that, did you get a job immediately?
So when I finished, so I really loved programming.
Okay.
When I was, in the school. So when I finished, I remember developing a small, we call them desktop application using VB. It's a language, that's programming
Intelligence
language.
Is talking. Yeah, I would ask for you ask her on her pages what is VB.
So and I went to this teacher and I'm like, I can sell this to you for 10,000. I don't even know where that came from, because I'd never thought of business or something. Anyway, he never paid me, but I gave him a program. Okay. And then I forgot, the last year of my college, I used to help with admin work at school. Okay. And the guy would pay me 200 a day. That was a lot of money. It was good for lunch and
bus fare.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. After campus, when I did that program like for a month, I met someone who told me, by the way, my friend has a software company. Would you like to work there? Me, I'm like, wow, awesome. So I have a meeting with this lady in Upper Hill. Then she tells me, I run this small software company. Would you like to come and work for me? I'm so excited. I'm like, yeah. She gave me a salary of 15,000. I'm like, whoa, this is $1 million. I was excited. I'm like, wow, I've never seen such money in my life.
And this is which year?
2009.
Just the other day?
Yeah.
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 Huh. So what did you do with your first 15,000?
Wait for it. So I come.
I am here waiting.
I come to work, and then she's like, so I'm not putting you in production department. I'm putting you in marketing. I'm like, what? What?
Uh-huh.
What? I wanted to be the software
Developer.
person. Again, in hindsight, it makes sense. Then it didn't make sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your steps were being just ordered.
Yeah.
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 Oh, wow.
God was there, like, ordering every step without my knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you went into the marketing
I
for the
went to the
business.
marketing.
Yes.
So this is marketing. You're a salesperson. I think, was I 19 or 20? And then, well, you're wearing big suits, a big skirt suit, and then you work from one building to another. And then people hate salespeople because they're like,
Yeah.
"Wewe kwenda, like just go." Like, you know, it was interesting.
It was boot camp.
Yeah.
For what you're doing now.
That was
It
crazy.
Boot camp. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And I think for months, and then one day, so what I'll do, I'd sell software as domains and websites. It was a big thing. So my strategy was, if I see your business card and you have a Gmail account, I'm like, I have to call you. I'm like, you have to be professional. You have to get a domain. So I'd go collecting people's business cards so that I see. It was a good strategy. So one day I come across a card of someone called Michael Moy. And then I call him and he tells me, okay, Mary, instead of you selling to me, I'd like to invite you to a meeting where you can sell to other people. I'm like, oh, cool. So he invites me for this meeting where they'd gather, business owners would actually gather for a breakfast, and then they would network. This meeting starts at 6 a.m. and then ends at 8:30.
Wow.
Mimi natoka wapi? I'm coming from the
Shucks,
village.
yes.
So I remember the first day I had to come out from the village with Mama Mbogas at 3 a.m. You know the way they live early with the matatus that come from the village. So I'm there. Oh, it's so cold. It's Limuru. It's so cold.
To make it by 6.
To make it by 6. And I came, went to it was Pan-African Hotel at that time. I'd never been to such a hotel, first of all. Never seen such breakfast. Anyway, so I got there and I don't know, the way I explained to, because I understood, remember I did some IT, so I understand the back end of what I'm selling. So by the time I'm standing to speak, I think people are amazed by this young, very small person selling this thing. By the end of that meeting, the company I was working for got clients.
Oh, wow.
Which was amazing.
Wow.
And my boss was like, okay, you'd be attending this meeting every week. Like, where? But it's at that meeting where my mind opened. I was like, oh, business people are normal people. Because I'd never seen it in my life. I'm like, oh yeah, you can touch them. They're actually human beings.
They're real human beings.
They actually, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where my mind started opening up in regards to
and getting sharpened.
into business. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll take a quick break
Sure.
as you hydrate.
Yes.
I'm sure you are here. She corrected me earlier on. We are back after this break. So you lost your job on It's What's Your Story here from Holiday Inn to Rivers. We're having a conversation with the founder and CEO of one of the leading PR, marketing and media firms here in the continent of Africa. That's Glasshouse PR. That's Miss Mary Njoki. I found her through LinkedIn. So she's a young 35-year-old girl who has been through quite a bit to get to where she is. And we did that build-up of her background, raised by a single mom, struggled through high school, through college, and she even had a stint in acting. I mean, I didn't do that. I've done quite a paper. I didn't think of going to National Theatre, and you were in traveling theatre. That's amazing. Yeah. So you worked for this software company.
Yes.
And then I know you also moved to Orange after that. No, before that, yes.
So before that, I moved to another hardware company.
No, but wait, before that, the 15,000.
Yes.
When you first got it.
Oh, it was amazing. But then, coming from Limuru to, it's my fare, it was, and food.
Okay, but it still felt nice.
Yeah, like, it felt nice. I have
a whole 15K.
I have a whole 15K.
Yes.
Yeah. So, also at that particular point, quite interesting, I was introduced to a ministry called K-Crew Ministry. So, which connects to my next story.
Phase, yes.
Because when I was going for K-Crew, remember I told you of my story how I got born again, but then at some point I was going to church, then I wasn't. And then at this particular time, I'm introduced to K-Crew. So I'm working, but then I'm going for these Bible studies every Tuesday. And there's so much that was opened for me in regard to knowing God.
Yes.
So I'm working in the first company. I moved to the second company, which was a hardware company. And it was very interesting because the first company was the best employee, and because I understand the back end. I moved to the second company. They're selling laptops and network solution, just hardware. For me, I don't know why it didn't make sense, and I became the worst employee ever.
Why?
Because I think when you're selling or when you have to be passionate about what you're doing. So I wasn't understand, okay, why are we selling networking? I don't know. It still does. It makes sense, but it didn't make sense then.
Yes.
And at this particular point, actually now went to look for, I don't even know how I came across the word PR. But then I'd gone for one of the missions and I met this lady now who was the founder of Orange.
Okay.
And when I met her, she was doing image consulting and then she was running a PR firm. I'm like, oh, interesting. And we connected. And then when I went back, I'm like, okay, maybe I should do image consulting. I'm around all these musicians, artists, gospel artists. They were just all coming up. Maybe I can help them with image consulting. Well, I did one job. I made 500 shillings a whole year.
Wow. 500 bob, as in 1 to 500.
Yes. Yeah. Then 2012, I'll never forget, January, we were supposed to report to work tomorrow. And then the owner sent a message and said, Mary Njoki, and I don't know, a bunch of others do not report to work tomorrow. So that's how he fired me.
So you lost your job on SMS?
Yes.
Like this owner did not have the courtesy to just call you for a meeting and say, by the way, no.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
I was very happy that day. Because remember, I've been having all this contradiction in my mind.
Yes.
Then I was like, it's not, I was like, I don't know how sometimes I wonder, I was like, it's not me who quit, it's him. So it's on him. I think I was fired on a Tuesday evening. By Friday, I had a new job. And I was working now in a PR agency for the first time in my life. Yes. Yeah.
And Orange that time was also very, very big.
Yes, they were big. Yes. Yeah.
So what was your role in that company?
So when I went in, I was PR, I was admin. There were many things that I was doing. But for me, the most exciting thing I remember was when they had a particular event and I was asked to do media relations and a press release. So this particular person I met, I'm like, okay, so we have an event tomorrow. I have a press release. I'm sending it to you. I sent to the guy. He sent to... For some reason, he sent to media houses. We had an event and all the media came. The client was so happy. That day I was like, oh my God, this is PR? This is amazing. It was so satisfying.
So it just clicked.
Yeah, it just clicked. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And then one day you wake up and say, I don't need to be here.
So my transition was like this. I started telling them, this is how many years ago? I started telling them, 12, 13, the future of PR is digital. And that thing was so heavy on me. But the people I'm telling, they're not getting it.
Because in 2013, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
So they can't see that.
They can't see that. And for me, it's because of my tech background. Because now I was combining tech and communication. So I'm trying to insist, no one is getting this thing. I'm trying to do certain things for them. No one is seeing. And I got a bit frustrated. I think one day, which was very unprofessional, I just stayed at home and I said, I'm not coming back to work anymore.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Did you have savings?
6,000 Kenya shillings. That's
Hey, the 6,000.
yes.
Hey.
And one day, interesting enough, I go to church and someone from Malawi, of all the places, like I've never met this guy, comes to me and they're like, you know what? You don't need special knowledge to do what you're supposed to be doing. God has given you the wisdom. I mean, that encouraged me. Yeah, there's this conviction, but I don't have a name. So I remember that time I was trying to do image consultants. I had registered a name, very bad name, but Diva Image Experts. So
Diva Image Expert.
yeah,
Not bad.
I go and create. Someone can take it if it's not taken.
You're offering the name. You take the name.
So I created, I went to PowerPoint, tried to create like a profile of some sort. So remember this meeting I'd attend every Wednesday. I'd met many people.
For the businessmen.
Yes. So I had a lot of, but they were mostly SMEs.
Yes.
So I had many business cards. Like
Yes.
I had like a box full of business cards. So I start emailing one by one. I've started this, but I don't know even
What are you telling them?
I'm telling them that I do social media management actually.
In 2013?
Yeah.
Wow.
2012.
You're quite ahead of your time.
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell them I'm doing social media management. What. Hey, one guy told me, hey, what kind of a name is this? Then the other one is like, your presentation doesn't look good. Then one decided to call me to his office. He's like, Mary, just come tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So I go to his office. He's like, that name. I'm like, yeah.
Diva Image Consultants.
Yeah.
We do social media management.
Yes. Then he's like, what do you want your company to represent? That's the time I'm like, clear communication, transparency. Then he's like, we wrote so many names, but as I was walking out of the door, he texted me. He's like, what about Glasshouse PR?
Wow.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I ran to Sharia House with my 800 shillings. I don't remember where I had gotten that one.
Yeah.
And that's how I registered the company as a business name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this man like a mentor to you?
He's a brand, we worked a bit in
Okay.
terms of branding because he
Okay.
also helped me with the logo that we actually currently still have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was a branding expert.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when now you register the name,
Yes.
and then you're busy like, what do you call it? Serial following everyone, all the business cards you have.
Yes. Following everyone, marketing. I'm doing, I was busy, created the website, I'm on Twitter, following everyone. Like I was actually doing social media management for Glasshouse PR. Oh, it was interesting. Then I got to one client who on Riverside Drive.
Yeah.
And then he'd pay me 10K a month.
Okay.
And then I'd come to his office every Friday. So I'm just managing his social media. So I was happy. I was like, yeah, it's my money.
Yeah. So tell us the achievements. You have served big brands. I mean, big brands.
Yeah.
Been celebrated. You have birthed other companies.
Yes.
And the reason I always encourage for people to just like, it is what it is anyway. You have served those people with excellence and distinction.
Yeah.
So what are some of the notable ones?
I think for me it's to actually tell the story from the beginning because the first 2-3 years was more of a lot of pro bono jobs and a lot of the people I'd approach up like, I'll do this job for free, but you have to give me a recommendation letter.
Okay.
I volunteered. There are artists I work with. Remember the ones I'd meet like in this ministry. I did for free, and for some reason that would open me up to either networks in the media, or meeting certain people. So the things I did that young people nowadays don't want to do because nobody owes anyone anything. So you have to be wise in how you're handling things, and it's not usually about the money. So people look at the 12 years journey and they're like, oh, you've worked with Facebook, Walt Disney, but you don't understand the journey that was there before, journeys that made me want to give up, but I didn't. And but they would also encourage me. One significant one was that 2013, a few months later, we get a call from Google and they're looking for a PR firm. I'm like, what? Okay. I go pick kids from Daystar. Since I was in Daystar, we come up with a plan, we go present. We actually shortlisted, but the reason we didn't cut to the end was I hadn't incorporated the company. It was still a business name. It was still way young, but by the time Google is coming to us, I mean, we have been optimized on Google.
Yes.
So they were looking for PR agencies in Kenya, and then we appeared, and they loved the name. And
yes.
so that's how they came to us. We didn't get the job. It was very disappointing because we
Yeah.
had really put so much in it. But the legal aspect, like, yeah, it couldn't have worked. But that encouraged me. I'm like, oh, Google could reach out. So what I thought in my mind from the village that was impossible could be possible at that particular point, because that's where your mind is at.
Yes.
It's a few months later, is it 2014, Facebook reached out, and I remembered my process with Google. And because of that, I was able to, I mean, I think they emailed many people, but I didn't have clients, so I responded quickly. And then they reached out, and we did a project for them.
Okay.
But that was a big deal, that you're working with
An international company.
an international
Facebook.
company like Facebook. And now certain things started opening up from there. But for me, the journey I look at is number one, the conviction that I had, the perseverance, being resilient, but also holding on to my growth and my knowledge of God, because I've seen how I've tried certain things with my own strength. Like there's a day I worked on a proposal for 48 hours, and it was clear in my mind that you're not getting this. And then I'm sleeping, someone reaches out, and I get to do the launch for Access Bank in 2020. So there's a way also in the journey God has shown me. It's not even about whether you're qualified or you think you're not even good. You're not actually, it's not about you. It's about the story I am telling. So as we're telling her story, it's her story in his story. One of my exciting, baby, I love it. It's called A Billion Startups.
Yes.
Young people would keep approaching me. I want you to mentor me. You know, you're my mentor. I see how you started young, and it's just a few years, because that time I was like five years, but people are still thinking I'm inspiring. So I'm like, okay, I need to start a platform that can bring these people together. These people I'm meeting who might not be necessarily, it's not for me, it's maybe for another person. So that's how A Billion Startup came about. I like mentor these entrepreneurs in Africa, inspire them, connect them to the guy you just met, the people you're just meeting who might not be interested in what you're doing, but might see an opportunity in other entrepreneurs. That's how it was born. It was very exciting. Yeah. And then, so when I came back, I think 2017, since we are going like that, every Friday I'd meet like 5 to 10 entrepreneurs.
Oh, wow.
And I discovered most entrepreneurs, their need is not necessarily capital. They would be like, oh, I don't know how to access the market. So we'd have different conversations. And I think by 2018, I'd worked or mentored like around 100 to 150 entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'd do it for free. We still do it. We actually have a cohort running right now with around 30 entrepreneurs. And I love it. It's exciting.
And you do it for free?
Yes, it's exciting to work
Entrepreneurs from Africa?
Yeah, across Africa. But now the ones who have registered for this cohort in 2024, most of them are Kenyans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's called A Billion Startups.
Yes.
So the name.
Yes.
What does that name
The
mean?
idea was to bring a billion startups together.
Literally.
Yes.
A billion.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So do you count?
I used to come, but the strategy changes because you discover, someone can come and you have 3 startups. But also the fundamental for me was work with these people, let them be transformed. There's more than, it's not, the platforms are important, but there's people are more important than, the platforms. If they are growing, they're going to be, to come up with solutions that are going to change the economies of Africa. So,
So for people watching you, Mary, and now, for example, not even example, it's actually what is happening now. We have so many people graduating from university, like you actually, and for a whole year they've been at home. And people know I've always wanted to be an engineer, but how do I start? All of those things. I know, yes, we'll get to a point where we'll share your, contacts. But just to encourage the people watching, they're waiting. The reality has landed that, maybe there are no jobs you can go knock and get. the times have changed.
Yeah.
They want to start a business.
Yeah.
They don't know how.
Yeah.
They're giving up.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
I did not know how to start a business, but it all starts with a mind transformation.
That's good.
And it also goes to the conviction that you have about a particular thing. And I believe everyone is very unique in their own way. I believe each and every person brings a certain, thing on the table.
Yeah.
And if you look deep inside, there's something that you do best. There's something that you bring on the table. And I used to tell entrepreneurs, or rather wannabes, first of all, okay, not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur, so let's just, put that out there. But I believe, and this has been my belief, that we're in a place where Africa is the next frontier. We're in a place where there are many opportunities. We're in a place where we have access to so much information. I mean, and with even 10 bob nowadays, you can access GB, and you're able to access so much information. So number one is just to discover what is this thing that is inside of me that I can even go online and learn and actually bring value to the table. Because as I do what I'm doing, as I've grown through the 12 years in my business, people interact with me, or people want to come to me because of the value that I'm bringing. Companies want to work with us because of the value that we are bringing on the table. So it's about the value. It's about how I can help another person grow. And yet and I use what I have in me. So what is it that you have inside of you? Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So what is in you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and because then when you discover what's in you, then the temptation to be an imitator doesn't exist.
Yeah.
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 Because the thing is, you find everybody imitating. So everybody wants to be a TikTok influencer, an Instagram brand something. And you're like, but is this really you?
Yeah.
So if you just take time out and sit with yourself and find what is in you, then maybe that's a good place to start.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so for Glasshouse now, so you're turning 12 in August this year.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank God.
Yeah. And I saw on your LinkedIn, you're even looking to expand to Africa.
Yes.
Hey.
We have expanded.
Sorry, she has expanded. Why do I keep making mistakes with this continental thing?
So what happened is, I need to remember the year, since we were in 2018. Anyway, between 2020 and 2021, we started having inquiries where companies that are coming into Africa, they just don't want representation in Kenya, they want representation in bigger markets.
Right.
So my mind went to, okay, how can we work on this model? So we started working with consultants like in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, but then now we want to actually build real teams in these particular spaces, so that when our clients come in, we're able now to represent them across Africa, especially what people call the sub-Saharan Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've already expanded. Hey, year 12. So do you also represent, like, say, because one of the things I also find lacking here in Kenya, I could be wrong, but I have looked.
Yes.
I have looked.
Yeah.
And I've only found this in South Africa and Nigeria.
Yeah.
Talent management.
I used to do that, but then I've come to discover it's a totally, I did that at the beginning, but it's an interesting space.
Yeah.
It's like talent management, it's also like managing politicians. It's all because you're managing a brand.
Yes.
We've done that, but I found artists like working with their own, how do I put it? It's a totally different arrangement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can do that, maybe do their PR and whatever, but you still need to have this person who will be with them everywhere and like their PA. But I did that. I did that a lot.
I think Kenya has that gap, and I think you could feel it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Even like for CEOs, like you have lots of like up and coming young CEOs. They're floating there, saying the wrong things, looking the wrong way. And you're like, but this dude earns millions. What is this he's wearing? And that's because it's not that he can't afford it. It's just that he doesn't have a talent manager.
Yeah.
And you find in the States it's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
But I also feel like we are not yet there. Our industry
You take us there.
Oh, I take you
Someone has to take us. What do you mean? You take us there. If you could buy 2 modems with 6K, what is impossible?
Nothing is
And I'll be your first client.
You will.
You take us there. I'm not dramatic. I'm not diva image something. What was the name of that?
Diva
I am
image.
not that one. But I feel that's a gap here that needs to be filled.
Okay.
And not just when I say talent. Yes, I'm not just talking like movie filmmakers or like people in these industries. I think they would gain a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, that's just
interesting.
That's just that.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks for coming, Mary.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
For a sizzling Sunday at Holiday Inn Nairobi 2 Rivers Mall. Join us every last Sunday of the month for a spectacular Sunday barbecue. Delight in our mouth-watering choma brunch accompanied by live music and exciting kids activities including puppet shows and bouncing castles. All this for just 4,000 Kenya shillings per person. Kids under 6 eat free and ages 6 to 12 get 50% off. Make your reservations now. Call 0709-264-000 or email reservations@holidayinnairobi.com.